Hello, and welcome to the Leisurely Learning series. In this series, we're going to be looking at supporting digital research with assistive technology tools. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge that although we are all participating in this learning from different places, that we are connected to each other and the land as members of the York Region District School Board, and that the board is located on the traditional territories of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabes people, whose presence here continues to this day. I would also like to acknowledge the land we are on is at the meeting place of the two treaties, the lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit and those of the First Nations of the Williams Treaty. I would like to thank them and other Indigenous people for sharing this land with us. I would also like to acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation as our closest Indigenous community and our partners in education. So this is the second video in this series, and today we're going to be focusing on optimizing your search. So there's two ways that you can optimize your search, and the first way is going to be using the dictionary and the Thesaurus tool in a Google Doc. So if you open up a Google Doc, and I've got the doc here for this particular assignment, what you can do is you can go to Tools, and you can go to Dictionary. And if you have your cursor next to a word, or you've selected a word, right? It will actually find it when you first start. If not, you can always come in here and type in the word. So I'm going to just type in the word melt. And the great thing about this is it actually gives you different ways to, or synonyms for the word. And this can be really useful when doing searches because it gives you another way to look for that term, right? So you can use the term liquefy, you can use the term thaw, disappear, vanish. Those are all words that we may want to do when we do a Google search, right? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is using what are called Boolean operators. So I'm only going to focus on 5 today, but basically Boolean operators tells the computer how you want them to do the search. So the first one we're going to look at is quotation marks. And what happens with quotation marks is anything within that quotation marks is an exact. So it's going to look exactly for those words in that order together when it does its search. So if we look at this one, ice caps melting, instead of searching for anything that has the word ice and the word caps or the word melting, it's going to look specifically for ice caps together. So we're going to give this a shot. We'll come over here. Let's go in here and let's do a quick search for ice caps. And let's do melt. Okay, so if we do it this way, this is what our search gives us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to put quotations around ice caps. And let's see what it pulls up. So you can see the first one is still the same, but we're starting to pull up slightly different things here. All right. The next option that we have is to use the or. So remember how we talked about using the synonyms there to expand our search. So now we can add more things to our search. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to go melt or thaw or what was the other one? Disappear. And we're going to press that. All right. And you can see again, we're getting a different search, slightly different. Okay. The next option we have is to use a minus sign. So this is if you want to make sure that it doesn't include a particular search term. So if I didn't want Stone Age in this case, or maybe I didn't want to look up Greenland, right? So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go minus Greenland. And what that means is that it's going to remove anything that has the word Greenland in it. So you can see already it's given us something that we could use as our counter argument, right? Which is great. The next thing is to use brackets. And what this does is it controls the order of the search. So this means I want to look for the words ice cap first, and then I'm going to look for the word melt. So I'm going to come in here. I'm not sure how much of a difference this is going to make, but let's do brackets over here. Right? And as we start to add more and more Boolean operators, you're going to find that it's going to produce less and less differences in terms of what is actually pulling up. All right, so we've got that. And then the last one there is to use the asterisk. So the asterisk, what it does is it kind of just says that anything, it could be anything after to replace that asterisk. So if we had the word melt, it could be melted, melting, right? Any kind of variation on that. So let's go in here. We'll put some asterisks on melt and thaw. And we'll see what comes up here. And again, we got some different searches. So these are just some of the operators that you can use. These are probably the most common ones that you want to be using when you search. These operators work not only within Google, but they usually work within most databases. So if you are already in the Gale database or in the Encyclopedia Britannica, you can probably use some of these to support your research as well. So this is our video on optimizing your research. Our next video will be on finding the right resources. So thank you for participating and watching this video.